lingering things that were happening, and I just thought, well, maybe the ionosphere itself was so ionized that it was lingering, but no, we have these extremely fast-moving particles that are hitting the Earth in the meantime, in between time. So, like I say, and I won't go into in more details than that. But when you sit down, plan on listening for an hour and a half, if you want to listen to the whole thing. So it's Josh's channel, Ham Radio Crash Course, and look for the Tamitha one. It's going to be the latest one out. He does it once a week, and this was done yesterday evening at 5 o'clock local time. Any questions on that? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Kim. K6YYL, and then we'll go back around and come back to John. Yeah, if you want to stream that. Yeah, I was saying last night here in Southern California at 5 o'clock, our time is when Josh, on his YouTube program, Ham Radio Crash Course, had Tamitha on there, our solar lady, and she gave a lecture that was an hour and a half long and was really wonderful, very detailed, of the Sun-Earth relationship and how it affects ham radio propagation. So she's always a wonderful scientific source and always very entertaining to watch her lectures. All right, let me go back to John here. AA6RF, AA630D.
No, you went back to the wrong John, Will. KU6X.
I know. I was just making sure you had any comments that you would comment. That's all.
No, I didn't see the lecture, but I am going to look into it. It sounds like a very interesting lecture that Tabitha did. So I'm going to look forward to it after the net.
Okay, very good. Let's go to Chris, KF6LEX. All right. Let's go to John, KU6X.
All right, everybody. John, KU6X Upland here. Yeah, I'll have to start listening to that. That lecture sounds real interesting. I got some rain this morning. Enough to make the dogs not want to go on the grass. They're a little peculiar that way. Got a high noise level on 10 meters. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I've got to figure out what's going on there. It seems like real broadband noise. Let's see. Yeah, Gary will talk about your laptop solid-state drive. Thing about the solid-state drives, which I hadn't realized, I think I mentioned this a week ago, is that when they go bad, they go totally bad, and you can't get much off of them. Figure out what your experience was. It's not like a mechanical drive when something goes bad and you have a chance to fix it. When the solid-state drive went bad, on my main computer there, it was kind of disastrous because I hadn't backed things up as often as I should have. Let's see here. Got some pictures from the Shelby Ham Fest Mike W6MAB sent the link to me. It's really interesting, some of those Eastern Hamfests, how much radio gear pops up, because it's only once a year. So all those guys save stuff up, and they come from hundreds of miles away. And the pictures that he sent me were such high resolution that you can zoom in and often see the price tag that some guys put on stuff. Some of the guys are a little optimistic on their prices. Others are more realistic. But situation here is we're all getting old, and all the people who want this stuff are no longer with us. So let's see. I had Dick W6JDH come over yesterday. I was going to have him work on some of my little Davco DR30 receivers, but his eyesight's getting poorer and enthusiasm getting lower, and so he declined the offer. So trying to find somebody who can work on some of the solid-state stuff, but there just are very, very few guys around anymore who want to work in either tube or solid-state ham equipment. So the situation is getting kind of desperate for a lot of people. Anyway, that's it, Will. AA6DDKU6X.
Yeah, comment for John.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, John, the 10 meter over here in the Riverside, it's S0, so it must be something right around your home, because it's lower than normal over here.
Already, very good. I'll figure it out. Thanks.
Okay, very good. Let me see if I left this on. Yeah, I did. Okay. This is for Kim mainly, or anybody for that matter who's listening on Kim's YouTube channel. What a good way of checking for openings on 10 meters and 12 meters is to listen to 11 meters. If you tune to 27,385 lower sideband, you have a lot of CBers out there on sideband all over North America who will be calling CQ and working each other quite rapidly and giving their location quite often. And there's so many of them on that one channel that you get a good geographical coverage that you cannot get on 12 meters or even 15 meters or 10 meters and tell what is happening. So it creates a very excellent kind of beacon system to look at. Now, something I've been looking for, because the European CB channels, one set of them is very similar to what the United States 40 channels are. But there's two different standards in Europe, and one standard is physically higher in the spectrum. It's still in the 27 meg range, but it's higher that is used in Europe. And here again, because these are all illegal CBs, though today it's legal to work there, and it's been made into a hobby band, which is legal. But you're supposed to run only no more than 12 watts PEP or 4.5 watts of carrier, which all these people are using, of course, ham radio equipment at 100 watts or more. But I was looking for what might be a good beacon for looking into Europe. And I found a frequency this morning that's being used in Europe. And instead of lower sideband, though, they're running upper sideband. And the frequency is 27.560. 27.560 upper sideband. We were hearing European stations on there here on the West Coast this morning. So the MUF for double hop at least got to 11 meters this morning. Let me turn to Kim for any comments, and then we'll keep on going here. Okay. Yeah, I just want to give you a heads up on that. All right, let's go down the list again. Jim, WA6YOS. Jim is not back. Coffee is brewing. While we're waiting for Jim, let's see if there's any late, missed, or visitor check-ins. Call signs, please. Hearing none. Let's don't trip, Jim. Take your time. WA6YOS, AA6CDD.
Thank you, Will, for that advice. But I am here. Yes, I do not bound up the stairs anymore. I learned my lesson on that one. And let's see, turn this down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I was waiting for your late Mr. Visitor comment there before I headed up. I was kind of ready to go, but then I did one more thing, which always messes me up. You know, it's not actually raining here, but you can smell rain in the air. And also, I noticed in one area of cement that I looked at that I could see a little sign of dampness, like maybe it did sprinkle earlier. But it's just one little area that hasn't dried up yet, so that's what it is. It's just scattered drizzle all over the place, it looks like. And let's see. Yeah, I really can't think of anything else. And just been keeping up with doing things for my mother, who is getting older and a bit slower at things, and so I've got to keep her in check and make sure the duties that surround her life or everything is attended to. And that takes up a bit of time, so I just don't have the time to fiddle around with experimenting and things like I used to, although I try to get in a little bit every now and then when I can, but it does mean staying up late at night and, you know, getting to bed at 3 a.m. and then being a bit groggy in the morning. So I've got to get in some kind of a better routine here as far as sleeping and resting and all of that to cope with everything. But that's how life is. You know, we all get older, and like John was saying earlier, the people that like all this stuff are diminishing over time, and yeah, it's just one of those things. And then not being the thing that I really miss is not being able to get out and do certain things that I used to do. I mean, I just, you know, like I used to just scramble up on the roof whenever I felt like it and do something with an antenna or the long wire or something like that. And I will not do that anymore because it's not safe. And the way it is around here, people on both sides of me, they seem to be gone a lot or stuck inside. And if I did fall and tried to yell for help, nobody would hear me. And front and back, there's nobody close enough to hear me. So I've got to be aware of all those things, as we all do, and accommodate the situation. Anyway, it does look like we will have next weekend should be a very kind of normal weekend temperature-wise, and it looks like I'm going to have company later this week. The actual days and whatever is going to work out hasn't been determined, but my buddy Mike is coming down again in this area, so I will see him probably toward the end of this week. And he always has interesting things, and over the years has sent me all sorts of interesting goodies that he's found up in the Bay Area that I might not see or be aware of down here. So, and I'll have to see if I can have any projects lined up that he can, a couple little things that he can help me with while he's here. Anyway, we'll fit all the moving parts together, and hopefully the machine will run. Everybody have a good week. Enjoy the coolness that the rain and the clouds bring, and even cooler days ahead. AA6DD, WA6YOS.
Comment for Jim there.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, you might consider bringing Mike out to the Claremont swap meet this Saturday.
Yeah, like I say, I don't know exactly what days he's going to be here and what all he has to do, other things he has to do, but that's a possibility.
Alrighty, just reminding everybody that the Claremont swap meet is this Saturday. It's 5 Saturday months, so it's coming up much quicker than normal. Anybody who hasn't been there might enjoy it. There's a lot of people out there, and we generally have a pretty good time. KU6X.
Okay, very good, gentlemen. Thanks for that reminder, John. Let's go to Tom, AJ6TT. No problem. Yeah, to monitor for European stations on CB. One of the hot spots is, it looks like from my observations, is 27.560. I repeat, 27.560 upper sideband, which is not what CBers do. They usually are on lower sideband. And they did that historically, so the FCC couldn't find them. So instead of doing what the amateur standard were on CB, they popularized being on lower sideband. But anyway, in Europe, they have a different history. And like I say, there's two sets of channel allocations, one of which is shifted above, and they do kind of in the middle cross-pollinate the two different band plans in Europe, but one is goes higher. And so just to make everything more complicated, one of the countries actually, I think Denmark, its CB channels are FM only in Denmark, for example, just to show you how confused things can get. But that's it, 27.560 upper sideband. That's QSL, Tom. Yeah, well, needless to say, everybody's invited to our antenna party tomorrow. Arrival time is 10 o'clock in the morning. And you leave whenever you want to. So if you want to be here till midnight, that's fine. Well, to the point you crash, whatever comes first. So like I say, anybody can get over here tomorrow and join the fun. Let's see if Gary may have showed up, W7VIP. Let's go to Don, K6DLP.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make it over there. Don't know how long I can stay. Check up on you guys. Make sure you guys are doing it right. Ha ha. I'm just kidding. The only question I have for the antenna you described yesterday, how do I determine the inductance of the coil to make it dual band? I figured that main radiator is going to have to be about 18 feet long. And what do you do about the feed point impedance being so high?
You tap the short. You tap up from the short and you make it 50 ohms.
Okay, now I'm confused. So if I take an 18-foot half wave at 10 meters, how do you feed it?
You feed it with the coil right against, and I'm building one just to see if it will work on 6 meters. And the one I'm trying to build will be 6 meters for the experiment tomorrow. See if it works. You have one end of the coil which is grounded. It turns out that the total for 10 meters, the total coil length is 34 inches. So it's 34 inches. The aluminum pipe is about 1 inch in diameter. Not that that's critical. And then you make a tap. You make a tap at about 1 turn. We'll have to experiment on the tap points until we find out. But you could make a tap at 1 and 1.5 turns and try either spot. And then it's close wound, right on top of the aluminum. And then at the high voltage point, we put, I'm using 10 mil tape thickness, and then I put a hose clamp there to hold the wire down to the hose clamp. And the hose clamp becomes the capacitor to the high point. So you see the coax sees that tune circuit as in series, and at a tap point, so it's a low impedance. The antenna sees that point as a resonant parallel circuit and is a high impedance, and that's how it works. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But don't I take another coil halfway up for 6?
Well, first, it's going to be to create regular ground planes with traps. Yeah, we could try to do something like that, but here again, we'll have to create a regular experiment where we do a regular ground wave and then put these in these sweet spots to see if they'll act as traps or not. That is to be determined. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I see what's going on. All right, sounds good. I haven't hunted down a piece of aluminum yet. I'm sure I've got something laying around here I can cut up and make that work. But yeah, I'm interested in trying to perhaps do a single antenna, half wavelength for both 6 and 10, and that'll fit into the Motorola Centaur radio perfectly. And that's it, K6DLP.
Yeah, Don, Will's got some launcher aluminum over there. He could probably loan you.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. Okay. There's got to be something going on there.
Yeah. Anyway, Don, I'll make this proposition for you. If you want to climb up and take down the 6-meter horizontal beam, you can have it as long as you help replace it with a dipole up there.
Well, I'll help you do the antenna work. That's no problem. I've got 5 elements horizontal right now. It's just I don't have it hooked to anything.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, you can take a look at the situation here when you get here. and we can figure out something. I appreciate it.
Sounds good. K6DLP.
All right. It's Gary's turn. W6RYO.
Okay. Don't mean to confuse you, but yeah, it's my turn. Anyway, W6RYO here. Yeah, John, on those on that restore on the laptop, they use those little tiny M-SATA drives that no case. They just go right on the board, and that was tough to deal with. I got new drives, and I did have a backup, but for the life of me, I could not restore that backup and get it to boot. I finally gave up and just installed a new version of Windows on it. And the only file on there I was able to get out of the backup, the only one I cared about. So, I just use that for traveling and that kind of stuff. So, I knew Windows on there isn't a problem. So, I was able to recover the one file I cared about. But, boy, I struggled with that. I used every tool I had. Okay, do this, won't boot. So, I don't know. It's a Lenovo laptop, so they've done something weird in the booting, and I said to hell with it. So anyway, that's that story. And other than that, just plan to piddle around here today and nothing else. So everybody enjoy. Have a great week. Like I say, we got a fair amount of rain, although it's drying up now. The wife took the grandson to picture photos for high school football. So they were worried they were going to get rained out on that. But my daughter, youngest daughter, and her husband are in Ireland. Their company sent them over there. She does a great job, and they're hosting a few customers and just having a great time touring Ireland. So, of course, we got the grandkids. But other than that, everything's good here. Everybody enjoy, and remember, don't do anything that I would do. A6DD, W6RYO.
Very good, Gary. Ken, K6YYL for the second time around. All right, very good on those questions by the young, or hopefully young person, but young to ham radio. Let's put it that way, whatever age you are. Yeah, I think the Fox Tango, Yaesu Fox Tango 710 has kind of supplanted the ICOM, but they're both good radios. The ICOM 7300 is a good radio, but now the Fox Tango 710 is superior in my opinion. Either one of those are a good way to go. As far as studying is concerned, there's so many ways about it. The best way is to go to the ARRL website and look for a club in your neighborhood. Look for, wherever you are in the country, look for an amateur radio club that gives an actual course. An actual course. Sometimes the Red Cross in your area may actually give ham radio courses. So that's another area you can try to get a hold of your local Red Cross and see if they do ham radio courses, and then your local amateur radio club, and they'll be listed, at the ARRL website. ham radio courses and find one in your area. And the whole reason to go, it's fun to go to a course and start meeting people, and it gives you enthusiasm, and you really learn it right and not just memorize it. But you can do that. You can go on the and download the questions and answers are available off the web. You can look up the Technician Amateur Radio class course and download the information and start studying it over and just sort of memorize the whole thing. But it's better to learn it, and it's better to learn it in an actual classroom environment. And then you'll have to contact what we call VECs, volunteer coordinated individuals who will give you the test. If you go to the clubs quite often have their own VECs, and they will schedule an actual test session towards the end of their classes that you would be taking. So there's so many wonderful choices, but that's what I would recommend. Go ahead, Kim. Oh yeah, no, I've been a active ham radio operator now for almost 59 years, coming up on 59 years here in a month, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's always a challenge, always something new to learn, all the physics in it, and wonderful friends you make, so many fabulous things to do, from T-Huns to bouncing signals off the moon to working shortwave bands and bouncing your signal around the Earth, working all the countries of the world. It just has an endless number of possibilities. The other thing is, Kim, find out where he is, and then you might even look up what club is close to him and let him know what club is available. Go ahead. Yeah, well, we want to know what big city is he close to that will have the ham club. Okay. Yeah, tell him, start looking for amateur radio clubs, ARCs, and there will be whatever is a normal name, like the city, and then amateur radio club, see if there is one. And sometimes it could be the name of the area that's popular known as in the amateur radio club. So it's going to have some name and it's going to be a fairly large city. If it's a very small community, it probably won't have an amateur radio club. It's got to be a major city, and then you'll find one and find out where you have to go and what you got to do from them, and meet a whole bunch of new friends and they'll be happy to see you walk through the door and help you out. Go ahead. Yeah, Kim says there's lots of different clubs around usually, and so you may find one that suits you better. So look around and you'll find something good. Okay. Yeah, give them to us. Okay, very good. Okay, let me go on here. Let's see, we got Kim. Well, we're back to John. AA6RF.
Yeah, AA6RF to the group, and the only thing I can think of, Will, that was kind of interesting, it was Friday night. I was on 440. I normally never get on 440 frequency, but I was scanning, and I found a net that came on it's on Friday night at 7 p.m. in the evening, and it's a link net all up and down California, it seemed like, and they talked about antennas. The whole program, the whole thing was about antennas, and somebody would ask about an antenna, they would talk about it, it was just an antenna net, and there was a few people that were asking about 6 meter, and they said there's nobody ever on 6 meter, and actually there was one person in Riverside and one in Sun Valley that made comments, yeah, 6 meter band is dead, and I wish I could have logged in onto the net and got them straight, but I wasn't able to. But it's kind of an interesting net. It's kind of a tech general level of antenna stuff. And but if you're interested in antennas and you have any questions about it, instead of asking Will and getting the correct answer, you could get on the net and you could hear 3 or 4 answers.
Yeah. Well, you know, that misinformation always comes because on 2 meters and 440 you have the repeaters that do all the work. On HF, you have the ionosphere that does all the work. So you can have a piece of garbage for an antenna and work people. The trouble with 6 meters is you have to put up an antenna.
Yeah, well, they were talking about HF stuff. The majority of it was HF and home-built stuff. And, I mean, it was interesting. It got my attention where I stuck around for the whole net. But if it was total disinformation, I wouldn't have listened to it. But there was some neat stuff on there, so I would recommend listening to it if somebody ever wants to spend an hour of their evening on Fridays and have nothing else to do. It is informative.
Okay, very good. Yeah, well, I have no... okay, real good on that, John. I'm just thinking I have no way of doing that at the present time, actually. So that's fine. Anything else, John?
No, that's it. And if somebody's interested, I can give them the frequency, but I don't want to put them to sleep, so I just threw it out there. And if somebody wants to know, they can come back. So carry on, Will. AA6RF clear.
Okay, let's go to John the Tie the Ribbons, KU6X.
Alrighty, well, I don't have anything to contribute anymore here. Just one more time, come to the Claremont swap meet if you can on Saturday. Official timing, starting time is 7 o'clock now. We've moved it up an hour to accommodate people who have a hard time with the old 5 o'clock routine. Steve, K6 PFW and I used to go to swap meets, and we'd be there an hour before they started, so we know all the drill of getting there early. But as I've gotten older, it's 7 o'clock is a better starting time. And you're still welcome to come earlier, though, if you wish. That's it for me. Will, A60D KU6X.
KU6X, A60D, thanks for that reminder, and I'd like to, and maybe I'll be able to, we'll see. The function of my vehicle and my eyeballs, so we'll see if I can do it. With that, is there any late missed or visitor check-ins? Comments or questions, anything from anybody? Call signs, please. Oh, I didn't, let's see if the gentleman is out there still listening. Let me go back to him. Paul, are you still there? KN6RED? No, Paul's gone. All right, any late miss visitor check-ins? Comments, questions, anything? Call signs, please. Uniform, whatever, you say it again. November 6th, Uniform Tango Bravo. Is that correct? Go ahead, please. Okay, Tomcat. Universal Tomcat. Go ahead. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Do you live up there, or are you just up there in Mobile? Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, everybody can work you from up there. And give me the name again slowly. It's E-N what? Induff. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful name there, Induff. The name here is Will, Whiskey Item Lima Lima. I'm out here in Paris. The call is America 6 Denmark. We run the net here from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock every Sunday morning there in Induff. So what's your installation? What are you running there in the car or portable? Go ahead. Okay, and are you vertically polarized? Okay, well, everybody here on the net is vertically polarized, so they should be able to work you. You need what information you need for the contest. Go ahead. You say the contest is for FM only? Is that what you're saying? Oh, it's a category that you're operating in is FM only. All right, well, we'll go to 50.300 FM and work you, and I'm sure a number of other club members or members of the net will go there and work you if you'd like. That's 50.300 FM. Now 50.300. We use that for FM all over the western part of the United States. Of course, all modes show up there, but it's mainly FM there. Go ahead. Okay, well, with that, we have Indef, who is running a contest, and his category is FM modulation only, phone. And he would like us all to go to 50.300 FM and work him on FM. He's up on Signal Hill. He's on Signal Hill in Long Beach. He's called his N6UTC. N6UTC. So we'll QSY to 50.300 and shut down the AM roundtable.
CQ and be afraid to do that.
All right, QSL, I will do that. I will be back here later this afternoon. Unfortunately, I got to go home for a couple hours, do some domestic chores.
I'm just over with.
8 o'clock this evening. 8 o'clock this evening.
All right. Before 8, and that's real good. Drive careful.
Hey, thanks everybody. N6, UTC, DM14, appreciate the points.
Yeah, and you're on AM, this is John, AA6RF. When you're on AM mode, I could barely copy FM mode. You're nice and strong, and you got a good signal over here in Riverside.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the ESA 991A actually does, full true AM. I think it is some kind of synthesized version of it.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't put out as much wattage either. Your FM signal, it's as much power as your radio puts out, it's putting it out on FM. You got a good signal, way stronger than the AM. So no problem copying this mode. So thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, thanks again, everybody. N6UTC.
I copy.
Is it RYY?
Yeah, Whiskey 6, Romeo Yankee Oscar. Romeo Yankee Oscar, name's Gary.
Romeo Yankee Oscar. I missed the prefix. Romeo Yankee Oscar again?
Okay, it's Whiskey 6, Romeo Yankee Oscar.
W6RYO, QSL, N6UTC in Delta Mike 03.
QSL, I'm on Delta Mike 13.
W6RYO and DM13. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the point.
Okay, 7-3.
I heard in there too. K6YYL in DM14. QSL, thanks for the point. N6UTC here in DM03. Hey, thanks a lot. 73.
Yeah, Will, you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, I meant to tell you that they got a VHF contest today, 6 meter on up. That's why I was kind of. It started last night, I think at 8 o'clock in the evening, and it's going to 8 o'clock today or something, or maybe it was 5 o'clock it started. But anyway. That was kind of neat. The 6 meter came alive there for a few minutes. Actually, during the net, right at 10 o'clock, I seen some activity down there at 125. So I guess they were probably working the contest.
Oh, okay. So this is the ARL contest then.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But it goes on for a couple days, so and this is the last day, so we might find some more activity on 6 meter, but it's hit and miss. I mean, everybody was on at 10 o'clock, and then it disappears, so NDF will be surprised. He'll tell all the guys, oh yeah, I got 10 contacts in 5 minutes or whatever, and they won't believe him.
On FM?
Oh, Will, some tidbits of information. I think I told you it before, but you know those antennas that station down there in Antarctica are running? Did I tell you the logistics of those 3 antennas they've got?
Yes.
Okay. I did the equivalency of it. If we had a 6 meter vertical or a horizontal beam and we could get it up 125 feet above the ground, we'd have pretty low angle of launch angle on our 6 meter antenna. Do you agree?
Yes.
It's the same equivalency of a 40 meter. The 40 meter loop has the same equivalency of that. It's 750 feet up above the ground. It's the same wavelength, 6 1/4 wavelengths above the ground. So it's phenomenal. No wonder that antenna can pick up so well. It's got a low launch angle for all the frequencies.
Oh, very good.
And then they got a delta loop, 160 meter, and then 2 60 meter loops, and they're all 250 meters above the ground, so, or above sea level, I should say, and it's all ice and snow between, so that's why they get the antenna up so high. So Anyway, looking forward to tomorrow. I'll get all my batteries and stuff charged for the equipment we need, and it sounds like it'll be fun tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, well, bring the analyzer and the beacons, and yes, it will be.
Yep, and it sounds like Don may come. That'll be good. Maybe more. Or Tom. Did Tom was he going to come over too, or was it Fred?
Don't know. Everybody. I just invited everybody, so we'll see. I have no idea.
All right. Let's see. Do you have an adapter, a BNC to UHF adapter? I'm going to need one more adapter, or maybe not. I'll see what I can come up to, because I've got the one beacon running out in the backyard, and I'm going to need 2 more setups for it. So I'll see if I got enough connectors for everything. And BNC patch cords, hopefully you got a couple of those.
Yeah, I have all that.
Okay, a short BNC patch cord, that's what I'm going to hook them up to, because that's the easiest to work with. The other cable is too stiff to go up to the Whisper.
Yeah, no problem there.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow. AA6DD, AA6RF.
Yeah, the ARL contest starts at 11 o'clock Saturday local time and goes to 8 o'clock Sunday local time, historically. So he said the contest is over this evening at 8, so that's what made me think it was an ARL contest. But it used to not have a mode distinction, so they've added something that used to never be there. Which is interesting that he's running FM contacts only in his category, so that kind of categorization used to never exist. And I don't know, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it is a good idea to have such a category. All right, AA6DD back monitoring.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Well, I wasn't aware that they had different modes, but I would think all modes should be accepted, even. But then again, maybe you can work on somebody on 2 different modes and get 2 different points. That would be kind of an illegal move, but who knows? I'm not in it, so I'll work whoever is out there and let them rack up points.
Yeah, no, all modes are historically legal on it. But there was not separate points for CW or sideband or anything. You either worked them or you didn't work them. It didn't matter what the mode was historically. But apparently they have different categories now, because he said he was working FM only category. So that means he's not competing with people who are down on sideband. He's only competing with other people that are running FM only.
Okay, or he's only got an FM mode radio. It doesn't matter. I haven't read the rules, and I'm not going to. So if I hear them, I can work them.
Exactly.
All right, talk to you later. AA6RF clear.
AA6DD clear.